Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Senate election 2021. As we have shown you earlier, the voting is going on for the 48 seats. Actually, 11 seats have been decided from Punjab at this moment, and the voting is actually focused on 37 seats, remaining 37 seats. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, a short while earlier, actually has cast his vote, and now the process will continue till 5 o'clock today. After that, whosoever is inside the chambers of the assemblies, national or the provincial, they will be allowed, and by the evening we will know who has actually scored how many points, how many seats. At this moment, a lot of focus is on the one seat that is from Islamabad. It might be important or it might not be, but remember, this is the House of 104 members. 4 will be abolished, but the rest will continue. Actually, 8 will be abolished in coming days. But at this moment, given the number, the value of one vote or one seat is only nominal. But because of the electoral college resembling what actually goes for the Prime Minister's vote, it is the National Assembly. Pundits are saying that it has a lot of value, and we will see what becomes of this vote. Now we are going to talk about all these matters in order to help us understand the electoral process and what exactly is going on. We are joined by Amir Hussain Saab, who is a columnist of renown, also a regular on this show, a regular on this channel. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is Barrister Safiullah Ghori, an expert on legal matters, an expert on the electoral matters as well, as we found out yesterday. Barrister Safiullah Ghori, thank you very much for being part of the program. From Lahore on Skype, we are joined by Asim Shaukat Saab, who is spokesman of Government of Punjab. But here, given that Punjab's 11 seats have been decided already, he will be representing the ruling party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Asim Shaukat Saab, thank you very much for being part of the program as well. Amir Hussain Saab, what to expect from the process today? Do you see any major upsets?
Well, there is a strong battle of nerves today because Gilani is symbolizing the political narrative of PDM as a whole.
Okay.
And Abdul Hafiz,
Which narrative is this? Vote ko izzat do ya na do?
no, the narrative is to dislodge.
Give value to the vote or not?
It is the plan C, as I said, to
do whatever you can.
Yeah, to dislodge the ruling government through parliamentary process and a vote of no confidence and all that. So symbolically, this is very important. Winning by the if
you're talking about one seat or the entirety of the Senate?
I think the one seat symbolizes the whole gamut.
But that actually symbolizes the National Assembly, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We are looking at the creation of the upper house, or partial creation of the upper house.
Well, I think.
So what becomes of the number game there?
I think that right now, because if you look at the numbers, there are 181. Are the
you're talking about the lower house, right?
Yeah.
181 in the government's...
in the government's side, and the 160 around with the
160 is the final number with the opposition.
So, I think if you look at the numerical strength, the government, the ruling government has certainly advantage. But if you look at the events that have taken place last couple of days, the things that have unfolded suggests that there is much to it. There are much deeper things that are going on.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about the video. Of course, you are hinting at that. But let me first bring in Barrister Safiullah Ghori. Safiullah Ghori, at this moment, do you expect any major surprises? And do you think that in the end, it is going to the upper house is going to belong to the ruling party, or it is going to actually belong to somebody else?
No, I think Farooq Saab, if we were to take what history has, we could always expect surprises, but I think that this is going to go smoothly, and for a very important reason. I think that any
I'll have
horse
to
trading.
go back to your definition of smoothly, but okay.
Yeah, but I feel that the reason why I think it will go smoothly is because of the delay in the Supreme Court judgment that came out, and I think that was instrumental in ensuring, because till the very last moment, if there were to be any changes, any party crossings based on money, based on any other reason, there was this uncertainty amongst the members of the parliament and the MPAs as to whether they would be able to sell their vote or not. And the judgment just came out only like 2 days ago, and I think that was one of the reasons why we could not see.
Why are you calling it judgment? Why not
The
opinion?
order or the advisory opinion.
It is an opinion, right?
It is, but it is a binding
Because,
opinion. It is a binding opinion. It is going to be followed. It's not like the government has an option of not following that. So I would okay, fine. So that's why I would call it an order, or even if you were to call it a binding opinion, let's just stick to that. But because of the delay in this opinion, I feel that a lot that could have happened has not happened.
Yeah, but here's the argument. You cannot complain that there was a delay in the entire, this opinion, because it was the government which went late to the Honorable Supreme Court of
I don't.
Pakistan.
Well, the government did go late, yes, but also the court took a considerable amount of time, and everything that was coming out of the court during that time,
under no law is the Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan bound
not.
to actually give an opinion before the election.
100%. I am not at all stating that the Honorable Supreme Court is bound to give an opinion, but it was understood that with the elections nearing, there was visible tension. And there was a visible demand amongst the people of Pakistan to try and hear from the Supreme Court.
Right.
And just to add one more thing.
Let me ask, with your permission, let me bring in the third guest who joins us from Lahore. Asim Shaukat Saab, you are listening to the discussion. In the end, after the opinion came, do you think that it was a mistake to go to the Supreme Court this late to get this decision?
Thank you very much, Patafi Saab. No, Patafi Saab, I don't think so. I would like to take a broader picture. From day one, it was our pledge to bring transparency and openness in the elections at all levels. And we have tried our level best. We have tried this on all the available forums. For example, 6 months back, we tried to bring some legislation, a constitutional amendment in the House, but we did not have any response from the opposition parties. Then we went to the court, then we went for the presidential ordinance. Whatever were the available means, we tried to use them. But what should I say? This is highly unfortunate for the nation, for the country, that one man standing on one side, he has come to power for the first time in the 73 years history of Pakistan, and he is trying his level best to bring some fairness in the system. And rest of the forces, whether you call them opposition or PDM or whatever they are, they have joined hands to stop this effort. You tell me that what should be done for the future, for the betterment of the Pakistan. That shouldn't be go for the openness and the fairness.
Shaukat Saab, since you are talking about the entirety of the system, let me remind you that there are aspects of the constitution and aspect of our judicial side that we shouldn't be speculating about, right? But regarding the Election Commission of Pakistan, let me also remind you, this is the Election Commission that your government actually constituted. At this moment, the leadership actually belongs to the people you picked. So is it fair to actually complain about the people you just finalized?
No, I am complaining against probably you didn't hear me. I am complaining against the opposition that they did not cooperate with us in bringing about the legislation or the legislative requirements of what we wanted from.
Right.
This is again very unfortunate. Whenever we try to engage the opposition on issues of some national interest, they always came up with one-point agenda, that is NRO. And this is, we have made it time and again very clear that they will not be given any NRO. But the point is, why don't they sit with with us on the issues of national interest, like electoral reforms, like judicial reforms, like FATF, whatever you can say.
That's
So
a fair
again,
point, sir.
It is our
That's a
pledge.
fair point, sir. Before I actually proceed further in the program, because we have to talk about that video, that will be of the great interest to your party and your government as well. But let me first ask you about the modus operandi that was applied in Punjab. We understand that PMLN and PTI are at loggerheads, but we saw a very smooth seat adjustment, if you call it, please, or something similar, where 11 candidates got elected unopposed. What exactly went into that, sir? It seems that when it comes to the interests of various political parties can sit together and work out their differences. Is it not true?
But Hafiz Saab, you have just reiterated what I was saying.
Yeah.
It was an interest of national interest. When it was an issue of national interest, PDM or opposition forces refused to sit with us. And when it was in their interest, they collaborated with us. The good thing that has happened in Punjab is that everybody has taken the proportionate share. Nobody has taken more, nobody was given less. So this is what we have been promoting, that representation should be given according to the proportion
who
of
actually
the
played
seats.
the role in this decision in Punjab? Was it PMLQ? Was it somebody else?
But Saab, you are not that innocent. Anyhow, yes, PMLQ
No, I'm very
has played.
innocent, trust me. Please go ahead and end that innocence. Please. by all means.
No, yes, you are right. Yes, PMLQ has played its role, and it is a positive in a sense that we have successfully avoided horse trading as far as Punjab is concerned. There is no dealing-wheeling, and there is no malpractices involved in this election. And fairness is preserved in a way that everybody has taken the due
With
share.
due respect, I understand what you're saying and I respect that, but you didn't end my innocence because you reinforced the innocence. I don't know what you were hinting at. Let me come back to the studio. Let me ask Amir Hussain Saab, have you seen the video? The video.
Yeah, the video was actually, I mean, this is
No,
something.
it was not code mark.
Yeah,
It is
it
surprise.
is a video. Yeah. It was surprise, and I think my first impression is if I were to go for the Senate election,
Okay.
what I was doing there was I seeking the ways to misuse my vote.
Okay.
What I was doing. So the investigation.
Misuse the vote or waste your vote?
Waste to vote, yeah. So if someone has to teach you how to cast vote or how to waste it, so I don't think that the guy who was there was that innocent because he had all this.
I don't know why it keeps on coming back to
Yeah,
innocence.
yeah.
But hang on.
Yeah.
I mean, usually because after the release of that video,
Yeah.
actually Ali Haider Gitlani actually came on television,
Yeah.
and there he stated that I had actually gone to ask for votes, and there's nothing fundamentally wrong, and I just helped
with
them
the
understand the
friends.
process.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the kind of video that we see is not in a drawing room. It
Yeah.
is in a vehicle, some kind of secreted kind of operation is
Yeah,
going on,
yeah.
where they are being told, they are being asked to render or volunteer some favorite numbers, 2-digit numbers, and then they are being told what to do with their ballot. Do you think that it was basically a tutorial that they went for? Or something else was going on? Because there is an audio that came after that as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. I think that was not a tutorial. Of course, that was something that happened deliberately, and but also we have to understand that the limit, the scope of that video will remain with Musa Gilani, may not affect the
Not
legal.
Musa Gilani, Haider Gitlani.
Yeah.
We keep on,
yeah.
because
Ali,
both are,
Both
their
are-
names start with Ali,
Exactly.
so we keep on
Ali
confusing.
Gilani,
Yeah.
And I think the candidate who's now his father, the Gilani Sahab, the big Gilani,
Yusuf
his
Gilani.
his political legal standing may not be affected by what his son has done because this
No,
is
but
this
that
an
is,
interpretation. Yeah.
that is not the question at this
Yeah.
moment. Whether it is litigated or not, although the opposition, the government actually wants to litigate it, right?
Yeah. But I
But
think
here's
the-
the problem, there is a court of public perception.
Absolutely.
And there seems to be a clear winner here. And it is not People's Party.
Yeah,
Right? Nobody likes corruption.
Absolutely. There is
Right?
no.
So if you are taking special pride in doing something which is awful,
Yeah.
people are not going to like it.
Absolutely. The public opinion or the optics in politics is important, as I said. But I think the Election Commission of Pakistan has the authority and the prerogative to take action or not to take action based on the merit
No,
of the
but
case.
here's the problem, and I'm sure Barrister Safi Lahori will actually help us understand that as well, that there is a characteristic lack of legislation when
Absolutely.
it comes to flow crossing,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to this kind of vote.
Absolutely.
And then the person involved has no personal skin in the game.
Absolutely.
So even if he goes behind the bars, he is going to actually flash a sign of victory, and then it will become victimhood of People's Party, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Barrister Safiullah Ghori, question: why is it that we lack clear laws in this country?
As far as election laws are concerned, it's obviously because there has been no consensus on the correct sort of laws
In
to make.
73 years.
In 73 years, obviously, I feel that,
No,
in
but,
the 73 years we've
let
had.
me qualify. There used to be 8th Amendment. To counter it, there was a 13th Amendment.
And then
to
furthermore-
counter that, there was a 17th Amendment. And then to counter that, there was a consensus 18th Amendment.
Absolutely, and so this is
So
this
18th
is-
Amendment
this is what's-
was supposed to
and
actually
Patafi
sort
Sahab,
these things
I am aware of the fact that you are a student of American history and the American Constitution, and so this is what makes it particularly
So am I a
interesting.
Pakistani
Yes, but
history.
and so if we were to draw a comparison, for instance, the U.S. Constitution, which is over 350 years old, has had only 7 or 8 amendments. Whereas,
30 plus.
yes, whereas the Pakistani constitution, which is only 73 years old, has had these amendment packages. By the way, when I talk about amendments in Pakistan, they are entirely different from amendments in the US. When we talk about a US amendment, we talk about an amendment in one clause. When we talk about a Pakistani amendment, we mean the complete overhaul of the constitution with